Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
Tonight, the breaking news: the shutdown. The White House threatening more firings now saying more than 10,000 workers could be fired. Tonight, a judge steps in to halt these firings. Late today, President Trump standing by the move and saying, quote, "We got the people that we want being paid." Also, the president is asked about the latest U.S. missile strike on an alleged drug boat off Venezuela and what the president said about potentially striking on land. We'll go to Rachel Scott live at the White House. Also tonight, new and terrifying images emerging from inside Gaza. Hamas fighters appearing to carry out public executions. President Trump tonight saying they must disarm or we will disarm them. The president saying, quote, "As soon as I say the word, Israel could go back in." Ian Powell standing by. In this country, the violent clashes amid these immigration crackdowns. The violent clash in Chicago. Federal agents using tear gas and a crowd of protesters. Dramatic video showing Border Patrol agents chasing a driver, ramming the car in the middle of a city street. The governor, who has said we did not ask for federal agents, saying, quote, "They need to back off." The Providence surgeon tonight facing chilling allegations, accused of raping a woman at gunpoint. The surgeon claiming he has ties to the NYPD and the Secret Service. What authorities are now saying about this tonight. This evening here, our reporting on the economy and what you're paying for everything. Tonight, the cost of a new car. What our reporter discovered at the car lot. What is the average price of a new vehicle in this country? Who can afford it? And what's driving this? Tonight, what could be a landmark case before the Supreme Court. Justices hearing arguments over whether to strike down a key part of the Voting Rights Act. What this could mean for representation in Congress and what the court has signaled already. The parking garage collapse, the fifth story coming down onto the floors below, crushing cars. Also just in, the concrete grain bin coming down, snapping power lines. Tonight, the breathtaking images from the top of the world. The American climber just made history. And America Strong tonight, the NFL cheerleader, what she's signing, and what extraordinary surprise tonight. From ABC News World Headquarters in New York.
Welcome to Hannity, and tonight, the state of America, the Democratic Party is a nationwide embarrassment. Their policies, they are god-awful, they're terrible, their views extreme, their rhetoric disgusting, and their tactics are cringeworthy at best. And then to make matters worse, in this off-year election, they're sending in candidates that are woke, a joke, and they all want all of their constituents to be broke. The leading candidate for mayor of New York, a rabid, communist, anti-Semite, won't even call for the terrorist organization Hamas to disarm. How gutless. Take a look.
Do you believe that Hamas should lay down their weapons and leave the leadership in Gaza?
I believe that any future here in New York City is one that we have to make sure that's affordable for all, and as it pertains to Israel and Palestine, that we have to ensure that there's peace, and that is the future that we have to fight for.
But you won't say that Hamas should lay down their arms and give up leadership in Gaza.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety.
You all know he believes in global intifada across the country. The top Democrat running to be governor, Katie Porter of California, might be the single most unlikable person in America. That's saying a lot. I can think of a lot of people that are not that likable after getting caught on tape berating reporters, her own staff, and pretty much anyone else that comes into her line of sight. She's now suggesting that even more bad behavior could soon be coming to light. She knows she's been mean a lot more than what we know about. Take a look.
Should California voters feel confident that there aren't any more Katie Porter videos out there?
Well, what I know is that my better in those moments, I'm going to be focused on earning their votes.
Sending the videos to Hannity at something.com. I don't have an email. Anyway, back east in Virginia and New Jersey, both Democrats running for governor are now embroiled in their own scandals. The polls are tightening dramatically in New Jersey. Mikey Sherrill won't even commit to not raising taxes, even in one of the highest tax states in the entire country. Oh, and she won't tell the people of New Jersey why she Democrats 2024 presidential nominee back on a book tour reminding everyone why she lost in a landslide. Because she
Tonight, President Trump confirming he's authorized the CIA to operate in Venezuela and now suggesting military strikes inside the country could be next. The new escalation amid U.S. strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug boats. The president vowing more attacks at sea and maybe on land. And what he said when directly asked if he was trying to take out Venezuela's leader. Plus the emergency landing. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's plane forced to land with a cracked windshield. Passenger filled the cockpit and the pilot reading through standoff. The car chase caught on camera, ending with a Border Patrol SUV slamming into a suspect's vehicle. The teen murder cold case breakthrough. How a smoothie cup helped investigators made arrest 40 years later. The victim's father speaking out tonight. Ambushed at gunpoint own driveway. How the attackers allegedly used an air tag to track the couple home. Mass silo collapsing to the ground, sending people running. The daring rescue, how firefighters saved this dog trapped in California floodwaters. And a house collapsing on a firefighter. His newborn son for his life in the queue. Incredible survival and the emotional moment. We're back together. Nightly News starts right now. This is News with Tom Young.
This is Sky News, the headlines. Witness statements made by the Deputy National Security Advisor published after the collapsed China spying trial say the UK is committed to pursuing a positive relationship with Beijing. Hamas says it has returned all the bodies of Israeli hostages it can reach so far and will need specialist equipment to retrieve the rest. Plus, Donald Trump continues to call on Hamas to disarm.
The weapons to be given up, sacrificed, and they've agreed to do it. Now they have to do it, and if they don't do it, we'll do it.
Meanwhile, funerals are held for the first of the hostages whose bodies were returned from Gaza. And the Chancellor exclusively tells Sky News she is considering tax rises and spending cuts as part of next month's budget. Good morning. The government has published witness statements from the Deputy National Security Advisor Matt Collins made as part of the collapsed China spying trial. It followed days of mounting pressure on the government. Sir Keir Starmer updated Parliament at the start of PMQs, where the controversy dominated and the political blame game over the case continued. Our political correspondent Tamara Cohen has this report. Over the case continued. Our political correspondent Tamara Cohen has this report.
Two men accused of passing secrets to the communist regime in China, and then the case dramatically dropped. The row about why Christopher Cash, a former parliamentary researcher, and Christopher Berry, a teacher, who insist they're innocent, never went to trial, is deepening. For days, the government and the Crown Prosecution Service, who brought the case, have publicly blamed each other for it not going ahead.
Prime Minister.
Today, Keir Starmer under pressure to set the record straight.
May I update the House on the China spy case? I'm deeply disappointed by the outcome. We wanted to see prosecutions. In recent weeks, there have been baseless accusations put about by the party opposite. Let me set out the facts. The relevant period was when these offences took place. That was under the Conservative government between the years of 2021 and 2023.
The opposition, Kevin Benn.
The leader of the opposition.
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. The bodies of two more hostages have arrived in Israel, with Hamas saying it cannot retrieve any more without special equipment to remove rubble. Israel has threatened to cut the flow of aid into Gaza over what it calls the slow pace of returning hostage remains. Humanitarian aid is flowing into Gaza, but the key Rafah crossing remains shut. Pakistan and Afghanistan have agreed to a 48-hour ceasefire following days of deadly border clashes and airstrikes. It's been the worst violence between the two neighbors since the Taliban seized power in 2021. Both sides blame the other for having started the armed conflict. observing a week of national mourning following the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga at age 80. Odinga suffered a heart attack on a visit to India. Odinga's work as a democracy activist helped to secure two important reforms in Kenya: multi-party democracy in 1991 and a new constitution in 2010. This is DW News from Berlin. You'll find out more online at dw.com.
I'm Jeff Bennett.
And I'm Amna Nabaz. On the News Hour tonight, aid trucks entered devastated Gaza as the tenuous Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal holds, and both Gazans and Israelis take stock of what they've lost.
The U.S. Supreme Court hears a Louisiana redistricting case that challenges a key part of the Voting Rights Act.
And how students and teachers are faring in Arizona's school voucher program that could soon be adopted across the nation.
I'm the canary in the coal mine. I can tell them what it's going to be 10 years from now because I'm living it.
On this Wednesday night, Stellantis shifting gears. The auto giant moved some production from Canada to the U.S., leaving thousands of jobs on the line.
This is disrespectful and disgusting behavior by the company.
How American tariffs are being blamed and the threats of legal action. Another province turns Tory blue. The challenge is ahead for Newfoundland and Labrador's newly elected premier. The pressure piling on Hamas to drop its weapons or else. And the Canadian helping Israelis rebuild after the October 7th attacks. Plus, Blue Jays pride invades Seattle.
They don't go this far that often, so they got to win today.
Our Eric Sorensen is in the Emerald City. A big auto company is turning its back on Canada. Stellantis is abandoning plans to shifting the manufacture of its Jeeps to the United States. Stellantis says it plans to invest $13 billion in U.S. auto manufacturing operations over the next 4 years. About 3,000 people worked at the Brampton plant before work was paused, so it will be retooled new production line. National will be done in Illinois. Canada's Prime Minister says it's a direct consequence of U.S. tariffs. Ontario's Premier says he's disappointed.
Hello, this is Nightwatch here on France 24. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. Israel has received the remains of two more hostages hours after one of the bodies handed over was not that of a hostage. The identities have yet to be verified. With the slow pace of the deal, Israel threw to keep the main some aid trucks on spy. Redefining with to Russia's top. Syria's new president is now at the Kremlin with his Russian counterpart. Both countries have historic ties, and Syria's new president seeks to bring Damascus back on the world stage. Reappointed French Prime Minister faces two attempts this Thursday to topple his already fragile new government. The far right and far left are both campaigning for legislative elections. This despite local and pension reforms.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Pressures growing on Israel to allow more aid into Gaza as the ceasefire continues to hold. On Tuesday, Israel told the United Nations it would allow only half the 600 daily aid trucks called for under the deal. Israel had accused Hamas of moving too slowly to release the bodies of dead captives as part of the deal. On Tuesday night, Hamas handed over 4 more bodies. Israel said 3 of the bodies have been identified, but the 4th did not match any of the known hostages. Meanwhile, Israel has returned the remains of 45 deceased Palestinians. Health officials in Gaza say the bodies arrived with their hands up. In a statement, Nasser Hospital said, quote, "Some are blindfolded, there are signs of gunshot wounds in some cases, while others have been run over by tanks," they said. This comes as negotiations have begun for the second phase of President Trump's 20-point plan. On Tuesday, Trump threatened the United States would disarm Hamas if the group doesn't do so itself.
But we have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm,
Monday on CNN. This is Asia Now.
It's 12 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 9:30 in New Delhi, and 11 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Rani Samtani. At this hour, Israel threatens to resume fighting if Hamas fails to fully honor the ceasefire deal. The militant group says it has returned the remains of hostages it can recover, but needs special equipment to retrieve more. The fragile truce now hangs in the balance. U.S. President Donald Trump says India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil. New Delhi has yet to confirm this. And strains on food security in the spotlight on World Food Day. The UN warns that global hunger is at breaking point, with nearly 14 million people at risk because of funding cuts.
What's done? Search for the Assassins podcast on ABC iView and ABC Listen.
Today, Defence pays tribute to an army soldier killed during a training exercise near Townsville.
We grieve for him, and we stand ready, resolute, determined to honour his service.
Police investigated claims that male students at a Sydney high school circulated explicit deepfake images of female students. Hundreds attend the funerals of dead Israeli hostages as Hamas hands back 2 more coffins. Unemployment jumps to a 4-year high of 4.5%. And 4-time Olympic gold medalist Ariane Tippis announces her shock retirement from swimming at the age of 25. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Melissa McKay. An Australian Defence Force soldier has died and 2 others have been injured in an army training incident west of Townsville. The soldier is being described as a leader of young soldiers. Acting Defence correspondent Olivia Casely joins me now for more. Hi there, Olivia.
Why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela?
The secret's out. The president confirms he's authorized CIA operations in Venezuela.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Also tonight, growing tensions over the immigration crackdown. Protesters clashed with federal agents in Chicago.
It wasn't that serious that they had to come in with tear gas.
Pumping iron and heavy metal. A new report finds most protein supplements tested contain high levels of lead.
And call K911. How Colton the dog set the rug on fire.
He's kind of a hero and also the arsonist at the same time.
Correct. We learned a lesson.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening, I'm John Dickerson.
I'm Luis Dubois.
Tensions between the United States and the Venezuelan dictatorship of Nicolas Maduro are growing.
U.S. forces have been targeting alleged drug smuggling boats and blowing them out of the waters off Venezuela over the past few weeks.
And today, President Trump confirmed for our Ed O'Keefe that he has approved CIA operations in the South American country.
Would those operations include toppling Maduro, whom Mr. Trump considers an illegitimate president? Ed asked him that too, and he joins us now for the White House. Ed.
Good evening. The president's confirmation of those CIA operations comes as the U.S. military continues striking alleged drug.
Africa News. The news.
Kenya is mourning the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, a towering figure in the nation's politics who saw the presidency 5 times over 3 decades. President William Ruto paid tribute, calling him a giant of democracy, and declared 7 days of national mourning, while flags will fly at half-mast.
We have lost a beacon of courage, a tower of principle,
and a father of our democracy. Let us come together as he always urged us to do, not as rivals, but as brothers and sisters bound by a shared destiny.
Odinga died Wednesday in India after a heart attack. His death comes just months after striking a political pact with President Ruto that brought his party into government.
In a political career spanning decades, Raila Amolo Odinga offered a compelling model of principled politics. And at a critical moment in our nation's journey, he always put Kenya first, before individual or personal interest. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Though he never became president, Odinga was revered as a statesman whose activism helped shape Kenya's multi-party democracy.
Kenyans took to the streets of Nairobi on Wednesday to mourn the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Odinga passed away on Wednesday after suffering a heart attack in India where he was traveling. He was 80 years old. While he never became president, he was a revered figure and statesman and enjoyed a lasting following in Kenya and beyond. Odinga's supporters affectionately called him Baba, a Kiswahili word reserved for a father figure. I was in the house preparing to have tea when I saw on the internet that Baba was dead. I did not think it was serious, so I asked my friends and they confirmed it was true. It drained my energy until I wasn't able to drink tea. Where do we start? Odinga was a key architect of Kenyan politics. He was one of the founding fathers of multi-party democracy in the East African country. Odinga also served as Prime Minister from 2008 to 2013. Despite 5 unsuccessful presidential bids, he remained an influential political force over the years. We remember Baba Raila Odinga as someone who did not like chaos. A lot of people would say he liked chaos, but he didn't. Whenever we got heated, he was the one who would calm us down. Baba is the only one who can calm Kenya, and only Baba can calm Africa. Kenya's President William Ruto declared a 7-day mourning period during which national flags will fly at half-staff. Ruto said Odinga will have a state funeral.
Tributes have been pouring in from across the world for the late former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who died on Wednesday. They described the president that Kenya never had as a towering leader who left a legacy of democracy in his homeland. Odinga was one of Kenya's most influential and enduring political figures, despite failing 5 times to win the presidency. Born in 1945 in Kisumu, he was the son of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Kenya's first vice president. Odinga attended local schools before leaving to study engineering in what was then East Germany.